Yo guys, what's up? It's been a while since we discussed the German-Japanese pact after the Pearl Harbor bombardment, but a good month later, on the 20th of January 1942, the Wannsee Conference was held in a suburb of Berlin. Nazi leader Reinhard Heydrich held the meeting to discuss the final solution for the Jew problem, the so-called Endlösung. An inventory of Jewish numbers in all of Europe was used, estimating over 11 million Jews that had to be dealt with in all of Europe except Great Britain. The 15 high Nazi officials attending this meeting agreed to mass executions of Jewish prisoners, so Reinhard Heydrich became the steering force behind the physical annihilation of the Jewish people. A strict selection process began amongst the captured victims of war, with death as a result, or working themselves to death in a concentration camp. For the rest, 1942 saw a German victory in Sevastopol and another winter war for Stalingrad. But in the Pacific Ocean there was a lot of action in 1942. Japan dominated the area for a good 6 months, but USA had successfully convinced 26 other nations to agree to the Declaration of the United Nations on the very 1st of January 1942. The world had united against Germany in World War I, and now it happened again. But the Pacific War was the highest priority mission for US President Roosevelt to take control over the colonies and China. Just one day later, on January 2nd, Japanese troops captured Manila in the Philippines, and they kept up the pace. 10 days later, Burma was the next target, and the Solomon Islands were attacked on January 25th. One day after that, the very first US troops arrived in Great Britain, and thousands would follow. In February, not only Singapore was attacked by the Japanese, but also the west coast of USA. Submarines attacked the Elwood oil refinery in Santa Barbara. At the start of April, USA lost another Philippine base in Bataan. Acts of Japanese misconduct took place as well, because all US prisoners were sent on a death march. But on April 18th, a very first US retaliation followed with a Doolittle'sRaiders bombardment over Tokyo, and with a reorganized new fleet. Also, the naval duel kicked off with General Douglas MacArthur. On May 4th, MacArthur assisted the Australian Navy and won the Battle of the Coral Sea. On June 4th, a majestic win in the Battle of Midway became a turning point in World War II. From that point on, Japan lost its supremacy in the Pacific Ocean and was forced into a defensive strategy. A small victory was still achieved in Guadalcanal by the Japs on the 3rd of July, but on August 7th, USA recaptured large parts of Guadalcanal after a counter-attack. After that, a last desperate attack in New Guinea was carried out by the Japanese Navy, but again, the Battle of Bunagona was won by USA and Australia by January 22nd, after 2 months of war. General MacArthur was not involved in this battle, neither was he involved in the win at Midway, but he would be a part of the New Guinea campaign that followed immediately after the Battle of Bunagona, and would last until August 1945. In 1944, MacArthur's assistance was required in the Philippines again, so his resume was quite impressive. But ever since May 1942, USA had taken over the command in the Pacific Ocean. In November 1942, they also participated in Operation Torch to clear out the German and Italian divisions of Rommel in North Africa, leading up to the campaigns in Sicily, Italy, and North France. So ever since the first US bombs were dropped on April 18, 1942, they never stopped their offensives. The chain reaction of American naval successes, along with the British resistance in Egypt and the Soviet T-34 tanks, were too much to handle for Hitler and Mussolini. Even Germany was driven into defense in Western Europe by late 1942, and Hitler's head engineer Xavier Dorsch was ordered to create a defensive bunker line from Spain to Norway, the Atlantic Wall. See you on the next one, guys. Peace.